Shalom. First and foremost, all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim our Hakodash. They belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you elect. Shalom unto you, your brother Shaquat from the Las Vegas church. Just want to go into a really quick lesson. You know, you scroll a little bit or you watch something on TV or whatever it is, and you see something spiritual. And I think this can be edifying because there's a lot of new believers coming into the faith. There's a lot of younger men that don't have didn't have the how could I say it, a fatherly guidance, whether it be big brother, uncle, whoever, that don't have these instilled in them. And this has been out of out of our culture for generations. So something that the Wayans family here does taps right. Matter of fact, I'm just thinking about it. If a non, let me grab that in Second Corinthians. I mean First Corinthians, the second chapter. But I'm gonna grab it. Bear with me. So like you always mix them two chapters up. First Corinthians and Romans. This is Romans chapter 2. I'm gonna start with verse 14. For when the Gentiles, which are Israelite foreigners, those that don't know that these statute laws and commandments are set up for them. And this is something that we're going over, you know, as far as Israelites and the heathen, and Israelite foreigners in the heathen. Okay, but when it says, for when the Israelite foreigners, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves. And it was a cultural thing, all right, for what Damon and Marlon here are about to talk about. Okay, it's just a thing that should just happen. And if you go back and you're old enough, your grandparents kept that going around. Get up so your mama can sit down, or get up so you stood up and let the woman, the pregnant lady or whoever, or the woman sit on the bus. Now who kind of messed some of that up? It was an Israelite woman that wanted equality, and so now that she wanted all that equality and went and demanded it, even though it was given unto the other heathen women as well, the white woman and the other nations of women, only the Israelite woman, the Negro woman, the Latino woman, the Native woman, are the only ones that actually fought for that position. Starting with the black woman, okay, the Negro woman. She really fought to prove that she could be equal, okay? But besides that, that equality is not meant to be there. There's always an order. There's always, a hierarchy of things. Let's look up the word hierarchy since we're just going to dig a little bit into this. Okay, but let me finish the scripture, then I'll look up the word hierarchy. It says, having not the law, let me go back. For when the Gentiles, verse 14, Romans the second chapter, for when the Israelite foreigners, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these having not the law are a law unto themselves, which show the work of the law written in their hearts. How is it written in their hearts? Because it's in their spirit. Their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. Okay, so let me get the word hierarchy, then I'll grab I'll play the video. Hierarchy says a system or organization in which people or groups are ranked one above the other according to status or authority. Pecking order, ranking, grading, ladder. And this is why a lot of guys can't get right in Israel. I'm talking about within the circumcision, and I say it within the circumcision, saying those that know that they're the Israelites and that teach that they're the Israelites, that our people are Israelites to our people. Okay? There's an order of things, and there's a reason for that order. Okay? And I'm not going to go deep into that. This wasn't it was just something quick I saw, and I was like, wow, that's pretty good. A couple scriptures came to mind, and I put it together. But when you get into the customs of our people, it's an important something that we should have, and that we're here at Great Millstone. I can attest to, are working this in order. Okay, this is still the same thing. Okay, so the clergy of the Catholic or Episcopal Church, the religious authorities, the upper echelon of the hierarchical system, those in authority. Let's see if there's anything else. The traditional theology, the traditional system of orders of angels and other heavenly beings. Okay. Arrangement or classification of things according to relative importance or inclusiveness. All right. And beautiful thing an elder said when he came here to Vegas. He said, "Hey, I know he's the head of the camp, but I'm the guest. You got to come. I'm the man you come to see." In so many words, he said, "Salute me, then get to the order of your elder, the guest. You know, especially when it's an elder guest. It's not like it's the nephew, okay? It's not like it's your friend, your friend's company. You know, one of your children's friends, and that's something different. But when it's somebody that's of higher status, if your grandparents show up, hey, now it's time." But the video is gonna explain it all, and it's beautiful. Okay, because only in a family like this can you get this type of situation, and you see why they're not only in a family like this, but in a family like this, you see why they're successful. Okay, because they have things like this written in place, and Michelle Obama's in here, but whatever, you'll see it.
It's funny. It was like, even now, this is how my family is. Like, I'm 65 years old, and Keenan go get me a soda, and I gotta go get it.
I said, and you do.
Yeah, I gotta go get it, and it's just like
that doesn't work that way in our family.
She's like, "Go get me a soda."
Yeah, if Marlon walks in the room, and if I walk in a room and there's no seats, Marlon gets up.
Yeah.
Sean and Keenan will sit.
Yeah.
And Mom will get up. You sit here. And my son will have to.
That's why I love the fact that they have children.
Yeah.
Because I just use that. I go to my theater sometime, and little Damon's there, and Mikey's there. And as soon as I walk in the room, the youngest one gets up and lets me sit down without question. And I love that.
Did your parents?
Okay. And that's a natural thing that Jake should understand. You so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, you should already know and understand that. Okay, my son and I came up to went to go see a show of a Native American and his father, father and son performing Native American culture and showing us different things. And when we were able to meet him at the end, I made sure my son understood. Go and greet the father first, and show him much appreciation, and then greet the son. Even though you're the son, you can give the son a gesture, but you shake the father's hand first. Salute him basically, and then you salute. It's a thing of order, okay? And finding out that order, it's a spiritual thing, but in regular situation, it's pretty much seniority, okay? Let's look up that word. And I'll play more. Seniority. It says the fact or state of being older or higher in position or status than someone else. A privileged position earned by reason of longer service or higher rank. Okay? And there's all these synonyms, right? Rank, standing, primacy, superiority, precedence, priority, age. Okay? All those things sound good. But it's really a spiritual thing when you really get into it, when it's used in this realm, so to speak, okay? When it's used in the truth. Okay?
If Marlon walks in the room, and if I walk in a room and there's no seats, Marlon gets up.
Yeah.
Sean and Keenan will sit, and Marlon will get up. You sit here.
And the beautiful part, in this scenario, it's not a thing of now I gotta get it. No, it's an understanding. And when you look at this family, because in Black culture we watch this family, go, basically take over the comedy, the black comedy circuit, the black comedy scene, and push through the door and make it. So knowing what movies like Hollywood Shuffle and different other things that I'm gonna get you sucker, all of these situations, in Living Color, and this is just some of them. When you realize what this family and then the elder brother Keenan really had his hand into, as far as setting the family up to be successful in the business, of course you're gonna get up, okay? And as they all went, whether it be the sister, the different brothers, or whomever, they all are there. They're all right there in line, right there in rank, and understand, okay? And that's how this truth is supposed to be, okay? And I got a few scriptures, but let me play this out. Then I got just a couple scriptures. But this should be, if this is in a worldly family, how much more order should that be in someone that's in the truth? Okay, if we're all sitting, at a dinner table, and we were waiting on a brother to pick up an elder from the airport, hypothetically, right? It's all hypothetical, and then they show up with a special guest beyond the elder, and it's an apostle, or someone else. If John the Baptist shows up, or if Peter shows up, or somebody, you start thinking about who these men are. They show up, and it's like, hey, who's not gonna get up? Well, we should know in order who's supposed to, and how the table dynamic now shifts by where everybody's sitting. We should have that figured out. Okay, it's just certain little things in our culture that have to be picked up on. And I'm not saying we're not doing it. That's far from what I'm saying. I'm just saying, for you that's coming in, understand that this is a part of what you're coming into. Okay? You're not there to become the man. You're there to learn. And if the Lord will exalt you in due time, if that's the situation that's set up for you. But it's not, I'm yet to meet a man that became the head of a camp, or a leader, or some type of a lead position, that was looking for it. Okay? And that's a good analogy between Saul and King David. David wasn't looking for that position. He was the last choice of anyone that would have been in that situation. All right? I'm not going to grab that. Let me play this out, and I'll grab my few scriptures.
And my son will have to.
That's why I love the fact that they have children.
Yeah.
Because I just use that. I go to my theater sometime, and little Damon's there, and Mikey's there, and as soon as I walk in the room, the youngest one gets up and lets me sit down, without question. And I love that.
Did your parents instill that, or did you all do that sort of?
Just a code.
Yeah, it's just a code.
Informally.
Quiet code. Yeah. We didn't teach them that. They just watch how we do with each other.
Yeah.
And it's just a quiet code. Some things you don't have.
And you got to know that the men that have been there in seniority before you, it says, talking about the double honor, give double honor. Let me grab it because it's important. 1 Timothy 5:17. Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine. Okay? Because they've laid the path. Okay? They can't hold your hand on the path, but they've laid it in their blueprint of how they walked it. They leave it for you. Okay? It's an important thing to reverence the men that have put work in prior to you. Okay, that's why we always open our videos with this. And they talk about, you hear these other guys talking about this and that in Israel and Great Millstone and no camps and all of that. You don't understand what the structure, how well this machine is set up in the spirit because of the structure. Okay, elder men that have labored longer, they deserve double honor. That's why you would get up out of a seat for an elder. Okay? That's why you would make sure the apostles or the elders or whomever that they have that their drinks are taken care of, that they don't have any concerns, that they get served first. It's all those different little details that come into play that need to be understood. So when these situations happen, we're already in order with it, and it rolls flawlessly. Okay?
Each other.
Yeah.
And it just
Informally.
Quiet code. Yeah. We didn't teach them that. They just watch how we do with each other.
Yeah.
And it's just a quiet code. Some things you don't have to teach. It's just what you see.
But it starts at the top. I mean, the way you talk about your father. I mean, there was.
It's funny. It was like even.
Okay. And so these things are important to make sure they're there. It's not so, yeah, I've been in this long, so yeah, I'm the. And if you watch, our apostles don't move like that. They don't act like that. Okay, that's not the spirit or the energy that comes off of them at all. And honestly, being around them, you realize they're beating you to it. They understand that as an elder that they're there to minister, to be servants. But hey, man, the job should come quickly when you realize that that an apostle just got you a drink when they got up, that they beat you to it. It's supposed to bring to mind that, hey, I can't let that happen again. I got to make sure his drink is always where it needs to be, to make sure he's comfortable. I need to make sure these other men are comfortable. And I need to make sure these younger men are seeing this happen and I can teach them in this situation. Okay? That's how we move. And that's how this should be. The dad shouldn't have to, Chris Rock had a joke as well. It wasn't even a joke, sound like, who ate the big piece of chicken? For y'all that know that. Okay? And basically it was the father gets the big piece of chicken. He get the breast, and then the kids get the wings and the thigh and the leg and all of that other stuff. Okay? It's a certain way that things have to go. Who gets the first plate at dinner time? You should get the portion. You've been at work all day. You paid for it. Okay? Or at least, the woman has it to where you can have some peace at the table by yourself, and the kids have already eaten, but your piece ain't been messed with no matter what time you come in. Okay? It's about the understanding in your family, but this should always be something of understanding how order works, because this is a part of our culture, okay, as Hebrew Israelites. Now let me get a couple precepts. I ain't grabbed none of the ones that I came up with yet, but let me just grab those and then I'll close. Yeah, Luke 14:8, it says, when thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, lest a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. Okay? And he that bade thee and him come and say to thee, give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room. But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest. Now, that was the explanation of how it goes. You go sit up there, then a man of more honor comes. And honestly, for me, if and when that has or will happen, I have no problem giving it up for the higher man. I don't have a problem at all. That's not a walk of shame at all. Okay, but when you were presumptuous to go put in I'm the man, so I'm gonna go in that seat. Yeah, your mind is already wrong, and that's where the impurity is at. Okay, but it says, but when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, an instant sign of humility. And then when they be like, hey, where's that brother? Where's the brother Shaquad at? Hey, how come he's not up here? Okay, or elders, whoever you or whomever may be, you looking for somebody that's supposed to be in that spot. It shouldn't be a mystery, that he's in. Oh man, let's go get him. Okay, it says that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, friend, go up higher. Then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee. Okay, and it goes on. This is but a parable, but it's larger than that. It's still a custom. And that's why this can be used as a parable. Okay? For whosoever exalted, this is the meaning right here. For whosoever exalted himself shall be abased. That walk of shame, right? And he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. Okay, so that's the difference. And it starts with a humility mindset. Okay? Now, let's get 1 Peter 5. I'm going to start at the point 5. I mean, actually, I'll start at the top because it's a balance between the both, right? The elder which are among you, I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Mashiach, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Okay, so of the elect, feed the flock of Yahweh which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over the Most High's heritage, but being example to the flock. Okay? And when the chief shepherd shall appear, right? This is that same analogy. The one that bidded thee shall appear. Ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Okay, so it's always, if you take care of business and you don't pump yourself up too much, okay, you just fit into the role. Some will exalt you, but you can. It's a way to do things, and it's a way, to not allow things to be done. I know men that won't allow you to speak well of them in their presence. Okay, one of them, I was gonna put it out there and say it and really give that man his honor. And before I can do it, he didn't change it into giving other men honor. That's an honorable thing. I pulled him to the side later, like, hey, it's much appreciated, but hey, understand, like, man, I ain't nothing. I said, none of us are. So we were fighting, trying to be the most humble, but also understanding that there's a necessity to be in certain roles, but hey, we're just servants, man, at the end of the day. It just happened to be in a certain role. So the little earthly order, it's not about, being exalted, but the order that we're in, it's not always as great as you would hope it is, but it is because at the end of the day, Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to exalt you for the work you did. Lord willing, it is received. Okay, it says, likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. Okay, for the Most High resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your cares upon him, for he careth for you. Who's that talking about? The elder. Okay, that elder is who's watching for your soul, who's careth for you. Okay, that's the one that you gotta, that's directly in the flesh down here, appointed over you of the Most High. Okay, because believe me, if one of the apostles' elders, show up, what do you think they're gonna do? How do you think they're gonna move? Okay, when their elders show up. All right, and that's a lot of layers to it, but I think you get the gist. Okay, we'll use this one right quick. Deuteronomy 4. There's a lot to it, but to keep it simple, I'll just read down and to the point. Is Deuteronomy 4:5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments. What are those? Precepts. What are those? Rules of discipline. Okay, and we know that this Wayans family, if you know anything about them, they had a certain amount of discipline. It was instilled from their father, right? It says, somebody on there said, damn right, it's in order, and it's about respect. And I don't mean like I'm telling you to do it. It just should be an understanding. Sometimes you go to the house and you'd be like, hey, tell your son to go get me something, or go, could you grab that for me? With family and you being an elder, uncle, or grandparent or whatever, you can control everybody in the room that's under you. Okay, and that was black culture, and that's being lost. There ain't no kids, and kids are pretty much like when I was growing up. I'm a little older, but when I was growing up, kids were pretty much like those ones in tennis. Let me see if I can get a quick image. All right, figured out what their name called, ball kid, or ball boy, or ball girl. For tennis, no different than basketball. They run out and they dry up the wet spot, the sweat spot or whatever. But they retrieve. So they're kind of, when you watch it in tennis, it's funny because they're not really seen or heard. Okay, but when a ball runs wild, they sprint out there, get it and gone. That's how the children were when I was growing up. That's how I was as a kid. You was just in earshot enough to hear your name to be called to go to do service for the elders in the room, whether it be your grandparents or your parents or whatever. That was your whole purpose. Okay, when at somebody's house. Now you can be around the corner playing. You're really not supposed to be tuning in to what the adults are talking about, but at the same time, when your name is called, hey, get on it. and I didn't have family members and I'll just come around the corner, okay? And you can be snapping at me. The kids today, man, sassy ass kids, man. Ain't none of that. You get your lip busted and still go do what they told you to do. Okay, I've been called from upstairs to come downstairs to hear the request of going upstairs to get what they want and bring it back down to them, and then go back where I was at. Okay, when they could have just yelled up and I could have brought it down and came back up, right? No, it don't work that way. I ain't about to raise my voice. I didn't hurt this. I ain't about to raise my voice. I raised it enough for you to come see what I want. All right? But in our culture, it's not a thing necessarily of authority. It's just a thing of order and understanding and giving reverence and double honor unto those that have paved the way and walked that path before you have. Does that mean that they're perfect men and they should be deified and worshipped? No, that's not what it means. Just they do deserve a form of honor, not the same honor that you would give your peer as much as you would give your elder. All right? It's just that simple. Going back to this and with the Wayans, you watch the Wayans and you might even say, even though Keenan was the eldest and he paved the way for all of them in so many ways, you could say the Marlon and Sean were more successful. You could say a bunch of different things. Maybe Damon is more because his sons are involved. You can say whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day, that changes nothing inside their organization, meaning their family. Okay? There's a certain level, you can't, there's no respecter of persons, but there is order. Okay? We got to understand it sounds oxymoron, but it's not. All right? There's certain men, the greater servant you are, trust me, the Most High will give you more and more. Anyway, it says, before I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord, my power, Yahweh, commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who hath God so nigh unto them, as the Lord Yahweh our God is in all things that we call upon him for? Right? And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I set before you this day? And you got to understand that, man, my parents come to my house, ain't no way they're getting up for nothing. My mom don't even drive when she comes to town. My mom comes to town, she don't drive whether she drove her own car or not. The moment I show up, I am now the chauffeur. Off the top. Okay? And guess what? The other grandkids that may come with her, that may show up with her, hey, now y'all under my program of making sure what the elders need. The grandparents and whoever and the parents need. Y'all gonna be doing little things around here. I'm not, you got, what else you got to do but learn the right way to do things. Okay? And when that's done, then you can go off and have your own time or whatever. But besides that, we got to make sure everything's established. Make sure, go get her bags out the car. Go make sure that there's this. Go clean out the car from all of the trash and stuff y'all had in there. Okay, it's ready. Go wipe off the windshields. Okay, now head out. Now y'all can go do what y'all got to do, and we got it from here. All right? It's just a thing of order. It's just well manners. Okay? It says, only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. And they have departed. This generation is out of control. And it's not solely this generation's fault. It's the generation before my generation and the one after me, okay, that didn't push this on the youngest kids now. That didn't make sure that this was always in order. That man, you know what? Smacking your lips will get you. Smacked in your lips. Okay? That's what smacking your lips will get. Sucking your teeth, as they say. You might lose a tooth. Sucking my grandmother, my mom's mom, man, you might lose a tooth sucking your teeth around her, let alone at her. Okay? It says, but teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons, and those sons are children. Teach them to all your children that little girls are ladies and little boys are young men. Okay, and there's certain responsibilities and duties that you must adhere to. The little of it is to get up so an elder can sit down. To get up so the elder lady can have a seat on the bus. Okay, or the train or wherever, right? This is something that's supposed to be passed down and just an understanding. You see, Michelle Obama, that's not what's going around here. And she's, I'm saying she, but whatever. But all blown it out of proportion. When this is just something that should just naturally happen. It should just naturally be happening. Okay, let me get the last script. I think I got like one more, maybe two more. Yep. This last one, Sirach chapter 8, verse 8, despise not the discourse of the wise, and the wise will pass these little gems down. Matter of fact, I am going to grab another one, bear with me. Sirach 6, I'm going to start up though at 32. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. Okay, he said we didn't have to, we just learned by being around each other that this was a silent code that we keep. Okay, that's what he said. Okay, and that's an important thing. If you're around, this is what should be just picked up. Okay, and if thou will apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. You'll be ahead. Prudent means being ahead of things. Okay, you can almost, okay, we're gonna need this. Okay, we're gonna need water. We're gonna need refills. We're gonna need enough for everybody. You're gonna be thinking ahead. Okay. If you apply your mind to it, put your mind and your effort into it, right? If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. Okay? Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. When you're one of the brothers here have done a video on being an armor bearer, okay? Somebody that bears your burden for you, okay? And so what that is I can't sit around and take care of this armor all day, but a younger man can come. I've been out at war, and he may not be of age to be at war, but he can come and be my cupbearer, bring me my cup, take my armor, and and clean it up for me, and tighten things back up so it's in working order when I put it back on tomorrow, or when I go back out to war, so on and so forth. But basically, he attends to the things, the details that I need done. Okay, when the woman ain't around, and in settings where women aren't around. Okay, where it's not the custom for women just to be, wandering in and out a bunch of men. That's not always in every scenario. In big gatherings, you won't find a lot of women. You won't find a woman really in the forefront. Okay, they may be in the background doing things behind, with the host to make sure things are running smoothly on that end. But out in the forefront, it's going to be all men and younger men, more so, that have instruction from an elder man on how to run this situation, that it run flawlessly. Okay? And if thou see a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear out the steps of his door. Okay? And that's what they all did for Kenan. Kenan was going into the executive offices. When just being, reading Jet Magazine or Essence or Ebony or whatever, and just seeing them talk about it and on shows and different stuff, you see that he was out there paving the way. So why would you not watch and be around him and start picking up things? You see him finding success. Okay, and this is something that should just be in our culture in any way. You see that this elder's been around for 10 plus years. Okay, so let me get to him, and I've only been in a year or two or whatever the case may be. Let me get around him and see what's going on. Or I can't get to the head, but let me get to this younger man that's been in 4 or 5 years, and because he's been around him, so let me pick up what he can teach me. Okay? It's just a thing of humility and a thing of order. So let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. Okay, now let's go back to the 8th chapter, Sirach 8, verse 8. It says, despise not the discourse of the wise. That's why I read that. Okay, because there's a lot in there, and you're gonna learn things like order, like different situations. Okay, you're gonna learn little gems that you won't pick up without someone like that around. Okay, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs, for of them thou shalt learn instruction, and how to serve great men with ease. Okay, and that's the key. How to serve great men with ease. So when that chief man shows up, you already know what the drill is. You already know what it is. Okay. Why do you think when you look at the scriptures, when an angel showed up, or even, they always bowed because they knew the power and the position? They're like, hold on, see thou do it not. I'm a fellow servant of the Lord, of Yahushua. Okay. Okay, so that's an understanding, but they already knew that it was somebody above them, so they got in order, and they are above us in this situation now. Okay, but they won't be later. But that's another lesson for another time. And it says, miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learned of their fathers, and of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need requireth. Not just to be talkers, but give answer as need requireth. You'll have the answers. I need to ask the elder of such. No, it's this. Boom, boom. I saw them talking about this. Such and such said that. And you already kind of know what it is. All right. So I just wanted to do that. That was, kind of a quick one. Just want to bring that out. So Lord willing is edifying, giving all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahshai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Until the next one, Shalom.